2 o'clock.
High and right.
5:30.
Guys, it's a regular guy with the Regular Guy Firearms channel, and today we are actually going over a longevity review on the Aimpoint PRO. Now, I'm actually kind of excited to do this video simply because I had forgotten that it was even a possibility. Amidst all the reviews and discussions that I'm putting out on the channel, I'd actually forgotten exactly how long I'd had this guy, and I've had it for a little over a couple years now. In that time, it has been everywhere. Honestly, it's kind of like my horror optic because it goes from gun to gun to gun to gun on a constant basis. I mean, just in the video clips that you've seen it on 3 different rifles. Actually, 4 different rifles fairly quickly. So, you know, as it currently sits, it's on the AR pistol here. And we're actually going to go over quite a few things. Number 1, do the claims that Aimpoint puts out about this particular optic hold true? And are there any issues with it? Meaning, is it a lower quality optic than, let's say, the Comp M2 or M3? So, that's what we're going to do. Today we're just going to go ahead and roll through all of the extra little doodads that come with it. And this comes standard on pretty much any Aimpoint PRO optic, in that, you know, you have your elevation and windage adjustments where they're supposed to be, elevation and then windage, and then you have the corresponding caps for them, and they thread on like they should. Okay, now you guys will probably notice the paint that's sitting on here. There's probably like 6 different coats of frickin' Rust-Oleum paint on this guy that have been scraped off and repainted, or the camo needed to be redone, or some crap like that. You'll also notice that, differing from all of the other unboxing videos and clean gear videos that a lot of guys have done, the scope caps are missing on the thing. And honestly, here's my take on that. Unless you're running a precision bolt action rifle or a precision rifle in general, you don't frickin' need scope caps, you're fine. Glass clarity is one of the few things that I don't really give a damn about in a blaster type rifle. So, you know, it is what it is. The optic, that's the battery actually, that's been in here, has been in since I've originally owned the optic. So the original battery is still in there. It's been about 2 years, and I don't have any brightness issues. It doesn't turn off inadvertently. And, you know, because this optic is on a constant on, you know, it hasn't shut off in 2 years. So I don't have any terminal issues. I don't have any issues as far as the electronics package is concerned. The dot turns on, it brightens up when I want it to, and it turns way down when I want it to. So, you know, it is what it is. What's also kind of neat about this is that some of you may have noticed a D-ball up front here. That is because I do train with NOD every once in a while, and it says on the package this is night vision compatible. It is to a pretty good degree. I mean, it helps you out quite a bit. Now, I turn this down to about as low as it'll go, and that's setting 1 for your night vision. And then, of course, you have 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on number 6, that's when you start into the daylight. And then you start going up until, of course, that's brighter than the fucking sun. So, you know, it is what it is. You have 5 night vision settings, and then it crosses over immediately from there to where now you're picking up 2, 3, 4, 5 day settings. So, you know, there you go. And a lot of guys in the past have asked me, you know, like, what particular setting do you run it on all the time and stuff like that. And honestly, guys, I'm not going to sit here and tell you which click it's on all the time. I just crank on the thing until I can see it well and not wash out my target. The optic does that. There's enough adjustability within the optic to where it is what it is. And I understand why this question is posed to me, though, because a lot of guys are wondering, you know, what's the difference between the advertised battery life on a particular setting and what you would actually use it for. It's been over 2 years, and the battery hasn't died, so good to go. Now, we're going to go over a couple of things that I've noticed about this particular optic while I've had it in use. And here's the deal. A couple of things that I really, really enjoy. First of all, it comes with a mount, and it also comes with a freaking, it also comes with a Comp M4-like mount also. So all you really have to do, for those of you who don't know, is that if you want to take it off, just twist to the left until it unscrews. What's kind of neat about this little Torx knob here is that you just turn on the thing until it clicks over. Now, that first one usually just, it automatically tells you that you're good to go. You know, but the second one I personally do just for a little bit of assurance. Now, here's the thing. After a lot of use and after beating the shit out of this gun a lot, you get that little bit of wiggliness in there. That play is nothing to be alarmed about. If it was something to be concerned about, I would have issues with the optic loosening up and falling off the gun. I have not had these issues. Also, you would have 0 shifts before the optic falls off the gun, and that doesn't happen either. Intermediate distance rifle with tactical response will tell you that, you know, right off the bat. First round, first hit, 280 yards, right in the freaking heart. And then the subsequent 10, 15 rounds after that, you know, and throughout that day, and then fast and accurate rifle, over 1,200 rounds shot. No issues with accuracy. So the mount holds true, and it does just fine. The rings also, they do just fine. What is kind of neat about this, too, is that unlike the vast majority of screws, like screw-based anything that I've ever had on guns in the past or optics, I would have to take off, apply Loctite, and put them back on before I start doing serious training. This is because, typically speaking, most of them just walk right the fuck out. I hadn't paid much mind to it, but a buddy of mine had actually made a comment when I was talking about doing this review, and he was like, bro, you haven't applied Loctite on those rings, have you? And then I realized, well, shit, they haven't loosened up at all. So straight out of the factory in the box, I haven't had to worry about the rings loosening up or anything like that. And of course, the optic doesn't play at all. You know, it just kind of stays where it's supposed to stay. So I'm actually very impressed. Now, typical of military style optics or optics that are used a lot. We have an issue that we run across with a lot of optics, and this is a pretty serious problem with optics like the Trigicon ACOG. And this particular problem has to do with the elevation and windage screws. Every once in a while, if I'm trying to get a zero on the thing, and for instance, going from my Daniel Defense mid-length gun to this carbine-length pistol, the zeros were way off. Very, very different from each other. So that required a lot of adjustment, clearly. But in the middle of those adjustments, the windage screw froze up on me. Now, a lot of guys don't talk about this because, you know, they just keep cranking it over, and then they're like, oh, well, the zero's not shifting until finally it does. And then it's a massive, exaggerated, way to the fucking right or way to the fucking left adjustment when all they were trying to do was move over like 5 clicks at 50 yards or some shit like that. The turrets in these actual optics can freeze up sometimes. And I forget exactly why they do that. It's a little different between this optic and an ACOG. For those of you who have better knowledge on this, put that crap in the comments below, because guys are going to ask the questions. But these guys have frozen up on me before. I've never actually encountered that on a Aimpoint type optic before. I've encountered them on ACOGs, and I've encountered them on a LCAN once, on the M145. I've encountered that particular problem one time, where either the elevation or the windage screws just won't actually make the adjustments, and you'll make your 3 or 4 clicks and it won't move 3 or 4 clicks. And then you just keep making those adjustments, and then finally after like the 12th click, it finally like shifts over, and suddenly you're 12 clicks down instead of the 4 you wanted to be. So, easy way to solve that problem when you're making adjustments, and this is just globally, every single time you do it, and is when you unscrew the cap and make your adjustments, just knock on the doors. Okay? Just knock on them with a fair amount of tension, or fair amount of power, I guess, into the turret. You don't have to sit there and beat the shit out of it with a hammer. But all you do is just sit there and knock on the doors, and it'll make sure that those turrets don't freeze up. Now, I've never had it happen to me on an Aimpoint before, so, of course, when I ran into that issue, it was just kind of one of those, deals. So, it is what it is. I've been beating the absolute crap out of the optics, so it makes sense that the turrets froze up once. But other than that, guys, I mean, the optic's been great. It's very, very accurate. I mean, when I make adjustments with it, like for instance, when I'm doing a zero at 50 or 100 or 200 or 300 yards, because I've done that type of zero with several different rifles and at all of those ranges with this particular optic. It says it's a half-minute adjusting optic, and at all of those ranges it moved a half-minute for all of it. So I'm actually very impressed, and for around a $400-ish price tag for an Aimpoint, and none of this fake point bullshit, you get a legit Aimpoint that is still very robust, still very tough. Battery life is around 3 years. It's really hard to beat, guys. So, remember, I'm on the Facebook page now. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. If you have questions for me or of anyone else, just go ahead and either leave it in the comment section below, or check out the Facebook page and post whatever subject you want to post there. But other than that, guys, remember, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy.